The Bottom Line, weekdays on LDB TV. Presented by LDB Media Corp. Top of the morning to you all, and thank you for tuning in if you are listening to audio only or watching by video. Welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line, weekdays, Tuesdays through Fridays on LDB TV on Facebook. You can check us out on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Twitch, and also on the Bottom Line Podcast and the LDB Network channels on YouTube. Now, a quick word from our sponsors. When you're at a clothing store and tired of waiting in long lines just for 2 to 3 items to pay for, and the lines are packed from the front to the back, then you start to daydream of what you could be doing with your valuable time instead of being here. Then get ready for this time-saving solution and money saver that you have been waiting for. Spreadshop ldb-media-core.myspreadshop.com. Come and visit our Spreadshop at a discounted rate that won't discount your time. That's ldb-media-core.myspreadshop.com. Discounted rates for all men, women, and children. That's ldb-media-core.myspreadshop.com. No lines, no hassles. All right. Good morning. Good morning. I hope your morning is going well. I hope everything is going well, and I hope your family is well. You are now listening to The Bottom Line. Welcome back for another episode. We're going to dive into some sports this morning, and then later on, then some movie news, and then some daily news. So, et cetera, et cetera. That's how we operate around here, is what we do. Before we get there and get started, we just want to say we appreciate the support. We appreciate those who are listening and tuning in and watching, like I said, audio or video. Just checking out our channels and the podcast on Spotify. And you guys continue to help us to improve over here, help us get better by supporting us more and more. You can check us out on the web. You can check us out on the venues that I have put out there, and also, invest in the vision, invest into production, invest in what we here are doing and trying to provide and start so we could continue to improve on everything that we do as a product and as a brand. Amen. So with that said, we're going to dive in to some good stuff this morning. Sports this weekend was great, but before we dive into any other news about the NFL, mostly talking about the NFL, we're going to have some quick NFL quick hits. All right, check it out. Giants fall to the Washington football team 29-30. Jets fall to the Patriots 6-25. Broncos over the Jacksonville Jaguars 33-17. Seahawks fall to the Titans 30-33. Falcons to the Buccaneers 25-48. Cowboys over the Chargers 2017. Dolphins falls to the Bills 0-35. Eagles to the 49ers 11-17. The Rams over the Colts 27-24. Saints fall to the Panthers 7-26. Vikings fall to the Cardinals 33-34. And the Ravens over the Chiefs 36-35. Bengals fall to the Bears 17-20. Steelers fall to the Raiders 17-26. And the Browns over the Texans 31-21. The Packers just defeated the Lions on Monday Night Football 35-17. Wasn't really a real good game. My predictions through week 1 and week 2, 10-6, 10-6. My total record is 20-12. Doing pretty good, guys. This week was a good week of football. It was okay for a standpoint of a fan and a coach. A lot of teams that lost week 1 bounced back week 2. Some teams that lost week 1 still lost in week 2. But they're looking for their identity. They're looking for who they are. But these guys are fighting to the end. Some of these games are not that much lopsided that we thought they were going to be. But I do understand one thing. They keep fighting with the way Ravens went against the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Everything comes in good and small packages. And I think right now that
some teams just need to get a little team camaraderie to do a lot of things when it comes down to who they are, the identity, because there's some don't even know who they are right now. But right now, Chicago looking good. Washington actually looking strong in the defense. And at the same time, I believe right now that the Cowboys are starting to find who they really are. But one thing I can say this, Jets need to help this young quarterback out to find out who he is, because he's not getting no help. Lamar Jackson finally beat the Chiefs. Awesome game Sunday Night Football. Way to go, Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson came through. He came through. He finally beat the Chiefs. He got over a hurdle that haunted him since he's been in the NFL. He's 30-5 against all the other 32 teams, and he's 0-3 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm glad that he got over the hump. I chose the Chiefs to beat them because they always beat them. But this year, the Ravens, they have some offensive weapons. They actually have, receivers, and he's passing more, and he's running still. But the last 2 games, he's been passing to his weapons, and it gives a different dynamic to the Ravens now, a different dynamic. And on that report, I said that the Broncos and Jacksonville game 23-17, but it actually was 23-13. So 2013, excuse me. So to correct that error. But right now, talking about that Sunday Night Football game, Lamar Jackson took the team on his back, and it was looking dim for a minute. Kind of grim, not dim. We were dim and grim because the Chiefs could have easily went down and got a field goal. And as I spoke that, and as I seen that on Sunday night, as I said, that they were doing that. They was driving the ball, just throwing it at will, nothing stopping anything. So I'm like, wow, can we get some defense in this game versus offense? So now that we see a little slight maybe preview of the AFC championship game between the Chiefs and Baltimore, maybe. I still picked I did pick, my pick changed since Cam Newton is not on the Patriots anymore. I picked the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl, but not now. So I don't know who's going in the AFC. My 2 sleeper teams right now in the AFC is the Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders, and the Cleveland Browns, because they're playing ball. They're playing mid-season form right now. And it doesn't matter who they playing. They're taking it to them. Cleveland, they played the Chiefs first game, and they should have won that game. And that's week 1. They should have won week 1 game, but they not let the Chiefs come back and win. With that said, watching them play the Chiefs the way they played them, and then, seeing the Ravens play the Chiefs, how they played them, and giving the Chiefs their first loss of the season, hey, I'm just going to say this. I think the Browns and the Ravens are, the 2 teams that's going to give the Chiefs a run for their money in the playoffs if they ever do meet. I do say that the Ravens and Chiefs going to meet again in the AFC Championship game. I'm just going to say if the Ravens do go for the AFC and represent them in the Super Bowl, I don't see Tampa Bay repeating. Because if the Ravens go, I think the Ravens are going to win. Tampa Bay is not going to beat the Ravens, but I could be wrong. So if there's a rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay, I'm going for Tampa Bay. But at the same time, it was an awesome game watching Sunday Night Football. Lamar took the team on his back, and now he got some offensive weapons to pass to. And they have a total of 15 injured people players on injured reserve. And that was kind of a wow factor for that game, and they still pulled it off barely by the chin of their chinny chin chin, by the hair of their chinny chin chin. They barely pulled that off because the Chiefs should have won the game, hands down. Chief was, I'm going to say it, the Chiefs was better offensively, and the Chiefs, besides using Tyreek Hill, couldn't get the ball, but Kelsey, he got the ball, and he did a lot of damage to the Ravens, especially defense. Now, let's talk about each team. I'm going to talk about the offensive line. The Chief offensive line is a little bit better than the Ravens because Patrick Mahomes had, some time to throw that ball on Sunday night. He did get sacked a few times on Sunday night. They got to him a few times on Sunday night, but at the same time, he had more time than Lamar had. Then Lamar used what he had, and for his offensive line. They gave him time enough to do certain things, but mostly he was under duress the majority of the game. Overall, he pulled it out. He won. So, but the defense on both sides, they let a lot of points just slide. Now, the Ravens, their secondary got killed in the passing game. The Chiefs killed them in the passing game, over the middle, zone, over the middle. But they shut down Tyreek Hill. They didn't give the big play. Actually, they did. Forgive me. They did give the big play to Kelsey. Kelsey got, like, I think 2 or 3 big plays and a few downfield passes, attempts, and completions. Mahomes got to most of his receivers besides Tyreek Hill. Tyreek touched the ball, but he wasn't as effective as he used to be because they shut him down. They had a game plan. They rather Kelsey get the tight end, get the majority of the yards versus Tyreek Hill to beat him long. And they had 2 safeties and triple teaming, double teaming Tyreek Hill at times and letting everybody else play and step up. So it was a good game plan. It panned out. Almost did not, but it did. So, I tip my head at the Ravens and hope this is a pivotal game going forward for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to play as a team to get better, especially defense. And then got to sew up that run defense because you could run on the Ravens. I had never seen a Ravens team that you could run on at will the way Chiefs was doing it. And so, it wasn't like they let a 100-yard rusher on Sunday night, but still he got at least 70 to almost to close to 80 yards rushing. It's still, that's typical run defense for the Ravens. They still got some yardage, but we'll see going forward for both these teams and how they fare later in the season. Now, not talking about each and every individual game, the games I did watch, had the opportunity to watch. I watched Monday Night Football with the Packers and the Lions. That was a boring game. It really was. I picked the Lions to beat them because the Lions, to me, are the better team. They have showed it week 1. They I don't know what happened last night, Monday Night Football, September 20th, 2021. I don't know what happened to the Lions. Lions were a scoring machine. They scored 33 points week 1 and only 17 week 2. So short week for them, I guess. I don't know. They had a week to prepare. I don't know, man. So, but at the same time, they're not scrubs. They don't look terrible. They just didn't play the A game last night. And then Green Bay, because they're home, they're Green Bay. Green Bay is still struggling with identity and to find out who they are. See, Devontae Adams, he showed up last night. The running game for Green Bay showed up last night. The defense showed up last night. I didn't see any really bias to point out in the game because they played. I mean, both teams played. They rivals. It's a rival game. But I thought it would be a little bit closer than that. But Garrett Goff, to me, he looks comfortable in the Detroit Lions offense, but I don't know why that there's no leadership, no presence, no boldness, no command presence. That's what I'm looking for. Command presence. He didn't have it last night. Now, the first game of the season, he had that, and everybody rallied against him, behind him. Excuse me, not against him, but behind him. But last night, he didn't have the command presence, I guess, because he's going against Aaron Rodgers, Lambeau Field, and the Green. Come on, man. What up? I mean, step up to the plate. I mean, they're gonna meet again. And I think the Lions gonna beat them next time. But I'm 10-6 in my record on both weeks. Week 1, I was 10-6, almost robbed me of a win with Tennessee, but I picked that Tennessee to win that game. So 10-6 week 1, 10-6 week 2. So that's not bad. 20-12 overall total. So I appreciate my prediction skills. I get it from the father. Now, some of the scores was way off on some of the games. Some of the scores, was on. So, it's fun to compare and have fun like that. I enjoyed it. Because I like to do it. So I don't mind myself challenging myself. Get what I'm saying? Don't mind being challenged by yourself. Challenge yourself sometimes. See where far you can get. See how accurate you can. It's all fun. It ain't like I'm gambling. I'm not going to do that. But I like it. So it's cool. It's cool beans. So let's go to the scores. See how close I was. And we're going to wait until the scores come up. What is going on here? All right. Good stuff. By the way, while that's coming up, right now, it was some good games, man. I enjoyed every bit of it, man. Every bit of it. All the games did not disappoint. and none of the games didn't disappoint really. Let's start with Thursday night with the Washington about to call them Washington Redskins, but the Washington football team is so hard to get used to that. At the same time, woke culture. They want to diversify everything. Okay, so the Washington football team and the New York Giants. My prediction, my score for them was I picked the Giants to win that game. I did. I thought the Giants was pretty solid their first game, regards the mishaps and their woes. But they did everything they could to lose Thursday night. They just gave that game away. But I originally picked the G-Men. So the original score that I picked was 19-17. But the score ended up being, 29-30. So it was far off, but did not see Washington win the game. I mean, Washington has a good defense, and I thought the Giants was a little bit improved from game one. Was fooled completely. But still, the game came down to almost a wire, so it was pretty cool. Washington almost lost that game, but they won it. Now, I picked the Pats to lose against the Jets. Why did I do that? No bias here. I'm not upset or because Cam is not up there no more. I just thought that the Jets showed some fire and some spunk game one. The Pats they did lose that game one, and they didn't show to me, it looked like preseason still. So I thought the Jets going to edge them out. And my original score for that game was 21-20 Jets over the Pats. How I was mistaken, guys. I was very much mistaken because that was not the score at all. Sure was not. That score was 25-6. Jets did not score or show up at all. So they only scored 3 points in the second and 3 points in the fourth. And for first-time head coach for the Jets, 0-2. Hope game 3 you get better. But I picked them games. So right now I was currently 0-2 at that point. So the Broncos and the Jags. Now, come on. That was a game, guys. That was a game. And I'm going to tell you what. That game, Teddy Bridgewater looks comfortable, man. He looks comfortable. It's too comfortable. So comfortable that, Broncos should have got him last year because they could have went far with him last year. That game was pretty cool. And I remember, I'm going to correct this score that I had before. It was 23-13, not 23-17. My score for that game, I thought it was going to be a little bit high scoring. The Jags had 21 points game one, but game two, 21 points again. So, no, forgive me. My prediction, game one, they scored 20 points, Jacksonville, in week one. In week two, they scored nothing but 13. And the Broncos scored 23. My original score was Broncos 35, Jags 21, since they scored 21 in week one. But, hey, they did. So the Bills and Dolphins, I need to talk about that game. Man, what happened to the Dolphins? The Dolphins got massacred. I thought it was a rival game. At least it's going to be a close game, but it wasn't close at all. The Dolphins just came and just sat there and just let the Bills do what they want. That game was 35-0. Next game, because that game was crazy, man. When I say crazy, it wasn't fun to watch. So 49ers and the Eagles. Picked the Eagles to beat the 49ers because they were home. And Jalen Hurts, he's playing lights out. Well, I say lights out. He's playing ball. But 49ers came in and it was a defensive game, defensive struggle, offensive struggle as well. And the 49ers prevailed 17-11. So, my score visually was 38-45, Eagles over the 49ers. But right now I'm 2-3 with my record. So for the week two. So, yay. So now the Rams and the Colts. I knew that was going to be a good game. I knew that game was going to be a good game. I knew that they're going to show up and show out. I thought it was going to be a high-scoring affair. And it's funny that my score prediction for the Colts was right on time. They got to score 24 points, which I knew that it's going to be around that because of their defense. And thought Carson Wentz is going to at least finish the game. He didn't. But the Rams score that I had was 42 though, because I picked the Rams. So I'm 3-3, but the score was totally off. Besides the Colts, I got this Colts score right on point, but the Rams they only scored 27 versus 42 points. So at least still won that game. Now the Raiders and the Steelers. Now that was a nail biter, and that was a good game. I picked the Raiders because from their performance week 1, yes, that's my sleeper for the AFC. One of my sleepers. I got two. That's Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. My two sleeper teams for the AFC. These guys are balling. And right now, Derek Carr is right now leading the MVP race. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care if you agree. Derek Carr is leading the MVP race right now with his performance and his comeback ability right now to win these games. Now, later on the season, coming back the way they're coming back now, you can't keep doing it every game. You got to get up front and stay up front and put the dagger in the back. But if you keep winning games like this and keep shocking and awing the people and the critics, man, you're making John Gruden happy and you're making the Raiders Nation happy. So I picked the Raiders to win over the Steelers. My original score was 35-28 Raiders over the Steelers, but the score was 26-17. Not bad, but right now my record was 4-3. Let's move on to the Bengals and the Bears. The Bears. Now, I picked the Bears to win because the Bears is the team I support, so I grew up with. So, of course, I'm not going against the Bears. So, especially they got, Justin Fields. So, right now, the Bears won, so I'm 5-3 in my record. But at the same time, my score was not that far off, but the winning score was 20-17 Bears of the Bengals, but my score was 24-15. So close. So next week we're gonna see. So moving on to the Texans and the Browns. That was an interesting game. I knew it was gonna be a high scoring game, and I picked the Browns. So I'm 6-3 right now on my record, but my score was off 45-42 Browns over Texans. That's what I picked, but the score was 31-21. Not bad, but I'm 6-3, so I picked the winners. It was pretty cool to pick the winners. So let's move on to the Saints and the Panthers. Now, this is a good win for the Panthers, regardless. Jameis Winston was way off. The Panthers are 2-0. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool for the Panthers Nation. I picked, my score was 30-27, but the score was 26-7. So not far off from the Panthers score, but thought the Saints would give them a fight because of a rival game. But Drew Brees ain't there no more, baby. Ha ha. Moving on. Right now, my record is 73 for week 2 so far. So moving on to the Vikings and the Cardinals. The Vikings and the Cardinals. Because, I wanted to pay attention to this game because Kyle Murray is playing lights out. And I'm going to say that because he's balling. Week 1, he was balling. Week 2, look at the score in the 30s. So that means, man, I don't know, man. The Cardinals are 2-0. So that makes them scary in my book for right now. Because they playing some teams. They playing some high quality teams. They ain't playing no scrubs right out the gate. They're playing some playoff caliber teams that which the playoffs. So I'm going to say the Cardinals, I did pick them. My score was 25-21 Cardinals of the Vikings, but the score was 34-33. Very close game. Vikings showing some fight, man. They got some bite. They're not just losing the game or just not showing up. They are playing. They scoring twice, 2 games so far, week 1, week 2 in the 30s. So Vikings ain't no scrub to be looking at. They just not winning the games. So I think y'all, and when I say y'all, the NFL, don't sleep on the Vikings because they got some fight. But currently they losing games. They 0-2. So we're gonna see what they do for the next game, week 3. All right, excuse me. Currently my record now is 8-3. So moving on to the Falcons, blue, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what? I already picked Tampa Bay because Falcons are trash. They're always going to be trash in my book. I'm an NFC South follower, supporter of the Panthers. And the thing is, I don't care, but none of these two teams anyway. I don't care. Buccaneers got Tom Brady and a super all-Madden team. I don't care. But I already knew that the Buccaneers are going to at least blow them out. and it was a blowout. It was 25 total that score, but my score was 35-14. So, hey, I think the final score was worse than mine. But right now, I'm still winning at 93. So, moving on. Now, the next game, which was shocking, was the Titans and the Seahawks. I picked the Seahawks because they're home. Russell Wilson, let Russ cook. That was the catchphrase from last year. And I picked the Seahawks to win, and my score was 27-19 over Tennessee because Tennessee laid an Easter egg game one, and it did not look good at all for game one. So I didn't expect them to be good in this game at all for game two against the Seahawks. Boy, was I slapped in the face hard because the Titans came back and won in overtime, and guess who won it for them? The one and only, the locomotive himself, Derrick Henry. So he was a freight train yesterday. I think it was 287 total yards, scrimmage yards, total yards, period, and touchdowns. I'm going to say right now, 3 touchdowns on the day, 35 attempts, 182 yards rushing. 3 touchdowns, 182 yards rushing on 35 attempts. Wow. And then Julio Jones, acquisition from the Falcons on the offseason, 6 reps, 128 yards. The Titans are starting to wake up. They're starting to wake up. So they're clicking right now. Air game, run game. Oh my goodness. And now they 1-1. Titans are waking up. But eventually I lost that game because I picked the Titans to lose. So right now I'm 9-4. All right. I picked the Cowboys game 1 to beat the Tavernier Buccaneers last week because I think the Cowboys are that good. And I know you're like, what? How you say that? The reason why I say that because they played that good game 1. They played the Chargers. Chargers did a pretty decent job game 1 too. Week 1. Game 1, week 1. So they scored pretty high. So that's why I picked, the Cowboys or the Chargers. But I thought it was going to be it was a close game, but it was closer than I had expected. My score was 28-21, Cowboys or the Chargers. But the score ended up being 20-17. So not bad, not far off. Both teams 1-1. Dallas still got some more nitpicking and sewing to do in the defense, but most of their defensive players are coming back anyway. So they're going to be solid. And Dak Prescott is playing good for being injured and all that stuff from last year and to come back to play with how he's playing now. Cowboys going to be there, like I said, and on the NFL quick hits, they're starting to find out who they are. They're starting to find out their identity, who they are. Then they got Ezekiel. They unleashed Ezekiel a little bit yesterday. So Cowboys are starting to shape up right now. They're playing, they're playing like they mid-season form just a little tad. But when all the pieces get together, all the people come out IR, injury reserve, we're gonna see how they put the pieces together. They 1-1, so they won one in the McCarthy era. So a little taste of blood. I think they're tasting the blood right now. So yeehaw, Cowboys, right? Yeehaw. So I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna watch them, see what they do going forward. I'm gonna watch them. But my record 10-4. So I'm picking them as I go. Now the Sunday night game, which was the Chiefs and the Ravens. Like I told you before, I really picked the Chiefs because the Chiefs always have Lamar Jackson's number. Remember, he's now 31-5 against all 32 teams. 0-3 against the Chiefs until Sunday night. Now he's 1-3 against the Chiefs. A hurdle he had to do. So can he do it again come playoff time if they do make the playoffs? If pending they don't have a collapse. So I picked the Chiefs because, come on, the Chiefs can move the ball at will, and their style is like similar to the Patriots, but not as the Patriots, but they're like the new Patriots in a different city. They're the Kansas City Chiefs. So We know who they are, but they're the Patriots of the NFL right now. The Patriots ain't the Patriots like they used to be because the quarterback situation. Mac Jones, he played his a good game yesterday, and he continue to improve. They might get better, but I don't see them going to the playoffs. Well, a little oof behind Mac Jones, and if they do make the playoffs, congratulations to them. But right now, we ain't talking about playoffs. This is only week 2 of the season. So Chiefs and Ravens. That game was going back and forth. It was kind of aggravating. It was kind of nerve-wracking because I was like, y'all not stopping each other. Mahomes is just doing what he wants besides a stupid interception he threw. He paid for it. Let's talk about the first big play of the game when McAdoo got this pick 6. I mean, just opening play 2 or 3 series in the game. And it was already 7-0 Kansas City just seconds into the game just started. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. Here we go. But then Ravens answered it with a 3-minute drive, 75 yards, and tied the game. I said, okay. And I saw a pattern. I said, okay, here come the scripted part. Because Baltimore was like, I mean, they home now. Now, check this out. Baltimore is home. And I see teams getting a home discount. But my God, the referees was against them. They got so many penalties calling them versus Kansas City. So I'm like, my God, man. But anyway, like I said, I picked the Chiefs. It didn't happen. And I'm 10-5 right now. My record for week 2. The Ravens came back. It was a good game, good comeback. And you knew they were going to come back the way Lamar Jackson picked them up and put them on their back. So my hat tips again to Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. Now that he has a passing game and the running game is number 1 in the NFL, again, going forward for this another season, going to be number 1 in running. His passing is going to get better, and accuracy going to get better because he has some guys to throw to and a tight end to throw to now. The Ravens going to get stronger and stronger. They're coming with a potent game plan for for opposing defenses coming during rest of the season. You can do so many things now. Now they got a passing game. They're going to be scary. They keep this up. So once again, Lamar Jackson, congratulations on your first win against the Chiefs, and many more to come. And if you are now the favorites or a threat to the Chiefs, Sunday night show. But I hope your defense kind of gets sold up a little bit because the secondary let a lot of passes go. So that's the only flaw I see. Can't let no other team with a decent quarterback get the ball last. You got to have the ball last and in the lead. That's how you're going to survive the rest of the season. That's just my analysis of it. Excuse me. That's how my perspective of the Ravens going forward. Now let's get to Monday Night Football, which it was a boring game. Let's just be honest. It was boring. From week 1, the Lions played. They lost, but they was in the 30s, scoring in the 30s. And I was like, the Lions scored 30 points. I'm like, wow. In game 1, and they lost. So I'm like, what kind of O-line do they have? What Jared Goff? Did they believe in this guy? What kind of weapons they got? Did they believe in this guy? I'm like, let's do it. Let's see what we doing. Let's see what we got. I mean, I ain't a fan of them because Chicago. But the thing is, of that in the C North, I'm like, okay. The Lions look like they're going to be a formidable team to play against and not be no scrubs. So I'm thinking that they're going to be, a competition to Aaron Rodgers, even especially at Lambeau Field. Lambeau Field and Rodgers shine in his home game. So I watched that game, and I come to tell you that I've seen some things that like, what, really? And then I see some games like, okay, want to really turn this game off, but I won't have a podcast to talk about anything to talk about my podcast if I did. So the game was boring. First it was going back and forth, 7-7, 14-14. And then here comes 21-14, then 21, then 17, then 28-17, and then 35-17. And then that was it. The Lions just stopped. They had no more fight. The bark just left. The energy just went out them. And the crowd being back in the stadium has a big factor to that. And I believe that. And I'm just like, okay, Lions, you laid an egg, and Aaron Rodgers now got something to talk about. They honored his GM. in the ring of the Hall of Fame of Lambeau Field or wherever they call the stadium. And I'm like, okay, well, Lambeau. So the thing is, excuse me, that was crazy. I just said that. But Lambeau, and I'm like, okay. So I thought it was going to be a better game. I did. It wasn't. So, hey, joke's on me, right? So that's the recap from this past weekend. Some games shocked me. Some games didn't shock me. Some games that I was disappointed in because I thought they were going to be a little bit better. But I was shocked and awed, and it did not become that way. Ended that way. Or the outcome was terrible on some of the games that I picked that I lost to. They should have won these games. They didn't show up. They did not show up. So they better show up for week 3 because we about to go down week 3 predictions and scores. And I guarantee you I'd get a better score, record, better record in week 1, week 2. I guarantee I'd be like 11-5 or 12-3. Because I'm about to pick the games. It's going to be fun to pick these games. And the reason why I don't pick these games and the teams to be, because I'm a genius. And this is what I do. Okay? Hate on. All right, this is week 3. So let's go down to week 3. Week 3, writing down. First game I see on the docket Thursday night is the Panthers, which I will be watching that game, and Texans. All right. Texans lost. So since they lost, I'm going with the Panthers. Panthers going to win. So I'm giving the W to the Panthers. The score will be, once again, I'm going to say 26-19. Let's do it. Cardinals. All right. In the Jags. Week 3. Going with the Cardinals because they playing ball. Jags do not know or have an identity or who they are or what they need to do. And Urban Meyer's one of my favorite college coaches, one of them favorite coaches of all time. He needs to get together. He needs to call somebody to get advice because he might get fired at the end of the season. So, and then you get the 1 draft pick and you're playing trashly. And then he's throwing picks all right up to bat. So you need to mentor that guy. But anyway, I'm not a Jag fan. I'm not even a Cardinals fan. I don't care. But it's going to be a blowout. 40-13 Cardinals. Because they scored already twice, two games already in the 30s. So this is going to be their little tune-up game for week 4. All right, let's move on. Oh, my God, the Falcons. The Dowkins. And the G-Men. I picked G-Men week 2 and they lost, but it was a rival. But now this is a division foe, but the Falcons are terrible, and let's be honest, G-Men is terrible too. So who has the firepower here and who has to win to get over the hump? I'm never going with the Falcons, so I'm going with the G-Men. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to say 24-21. G-Men with the Falcons. All right, we're going to move on. Ravens and the Lions. Now, this is going to be interesting. You're going to see what each teams are about here. The Lions and the Ravens. What I saw from the Ravens and what I saw for the Lions, week 2, I'm going Ravens. And it's going to be a little massacre here, but it's going to be 35-33 because the Lions can score 30 points. So we're going to see what he do against another quality team. So that's there. Now, my Bears versus the Browns, the Cleveland Browns. Awesome. I'm going with the Bears. I'll go with the Bears because I support the Bears, but I don't know. But with the rookie as a quarterback going against Micah Bayfield, I don't know, man. But I'm gonna pick the Bears or the Browns, and I'm gonna pick high scoring game, 38-35, Bears or the Browns. All right, moving on quickly. That game will go both ways, man, because they got the skills to pay the bills. All right, rivalry game. Bengals over the Steelers. Yes, I said it. Bengals over the Steelers. Bengals are not playing bad. Bengals are really actually doing a good job. They just lost losing games. So the Bengals, Joe Burrows, thank you. Joe Burrows, thank you for the name drop. Thank you. Joe Burrows, got to know the name. Hey, I'm getting help here. Joe Burrows, because I know, hey, I'm a sports guy. He's playing good. He's playing good this season. So I say 30-19 Bengals over the Steelers. Moving on. The Washington football team versus the Bills. Former coaches, head coach versus defensive coordinator. Now, both head coaches of two different teams. So they was on the same team, the Carolina Panthers. Now, Bill, Sean McDormand and Ron Rivera, one of my favorite coaches, head to head right now. So I'm going to pick the Bills because they're going to study each other and they're going to fight. 42-28. Bills over the Washington football team. Now, the Dolphins. Oh, my God. Laid an egg big time. Sweet too. In the Ravens. Not Ravens, but Raiders. Excuse me. In the Raiders. Raiders going to win 38-24. Raiders. Picking the Raiders because the Raiders are playing ball. Right now, Derek Carr is my MVP. My MVP of the league right now because nobody's playing better than him right now because, he's playing. He's playing. All right, moving on. Jets. Oh, Lord. And the Broncos. Definitely Broncos because the Jets are terrible. They're terrible. Broncos, the W. This is going to be a blowout. 30-6. And they need to give Wilson, they need to give him, that young quarterback, some help because he is lost in the sauce. So, moving on. Seahawks versus the Vikings. I don't know. This one will go both ways because the Vikings have scored in the 30s in two games. And now Seahawks lost. And they're on the road now. And I think I'm going to choose the Vikings. The reason why I'm going to choose the Vikings because I know they're going to get over the hump. And I think they're not going 0-3. So I think they're going to be 2-1. No, they're going to be 1-2. So, yeah, I'm going with the Vikings. And I see 33-28. Might be off on the score, but hey, still picking the Vikings. Now, Buccaneers and the Rams. Now, this is going to be good. The reason why I think it's going to be good because the Buccaneers has a defense and the Rams have a defense. And then with Matthew Stafford back there, man, the Rams looks dangerous. The Bucs look dangerous too. So I'm going to choose the Rams. And reason being, because Tampa's not going undefeated, and they're not going to be 4-0, 5-0 before the game week 8. So, and no team going to be undefeated going forward because the other teams are playing ball and they fighting. So, Buccaneers and the Rams. This is going to be a high-scoring game. So, I'm just going to pick a realistic score. I'm going to say 40 because the Rams can do it. And the Buccaneers, 35. I'm going to keep that, and we're going to move forward. Rams going to win. Packers and the 49ers. All right. The Packers and the 49ers. Write down my list. Packers and the 49ers. I choose the 49ers because they're in California. Aaron Rodgers, home state. 49ers, 20. Packers, 17. Might be off in score, but as long as I win. All right. That the Packers and 49ers is Sunday night football, so definitely watching that. Monday night football, which is going to be a battle. The Eagles, and the Cowboys. And I'm going to choose the Cowboys. Reason why I choose the Cowboys, because they're coming on strong. They're fighting for one another. They playing championship ball right now. Week 2. 2 weeks in the season, they lost game 1 against the championship champions, Buccaneers, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's how I'm called, Tampa Bay. Week 2, came back and won against a good Chargers team. But look how they won it. Regardless, they had some flaws, but they still stood together and won the game. They won the game they should win. So the game they should have won last Thursday night before, they should have beat Buccaneers, but they lost. And then now week 2, almost laid an egg, but you still won. Comeback victory. So they did a lot of that last year too before Dak went out. So I'm picking the Cowboys, and I say a good battle here. Rivalry. 20-14. No. I'm going to say 30-28. No, 30-24. There you go. So that is my predictions for week 3. Leave me your predictions in the comments below, and then give me your win total if you're even keeping tab. If you're on with your picks or you're not on with your picks. Let me know what you picked, and we'll compare the records. So right now I'm 20-12 and about to improve week 3. I pray, because some of the games that I'm kind of suspect at, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it pans out and everything. And I think that it's gonna be a righteous time. So other than that, guys, that's my prediction for week 3. Look at summary week 2, it was okay. Week 1 was better. Week 2, okay. Not terrible, but okay. I think week 3 with the matches we got going on is going to get better. And we're going to start seeing some separation from all the teams. And we're going to start seeing a little separation. You know, some teams going to be 2-1. Some going to be, let's see, 1-3. Some teams going to be 1-2, 2-1. Some might be 3-0. You never know. But ain't going to be no team going to be undefeated, because these teams have some spunk and some fight. I just hope the Jacksonville Jaguars get on a tear soon, because right now they're not having fun right now. They're not. I hope Trevor Lawrence has great success and get on track and someone mentor them all. But other than that, man, that's my predictions. So leave your predictions in the comments below and let me know what you think. Talk to me. Speak out. Say something. Hey, it's called the bottom line. And the bottom line is we're going to start to see some strong teams and some potential powerhouses coming out of week 3. Ravens is already merging to be one. The Raiders are already one. The Cowboys are merging to be one. I'm going to say it like that. The Panthers are 2-0. So if they become 3-0, now we're going to start having that conversation about the Panthers. Did Mike Rule finally turn the table on the Panthers franchise? Are they playing anybody, if that's what you want to say? Or is time or let's say this. I'm going to get no tongue twister here. Are they believing in the hype? But we'll see. So other than that, guys, that's it. That's all I have for this segment. All right. So, little quick hits involved and little time. But remember, this is the bottom line. The bottom line is the NFL season is getting good. So if referees, the bottom line is referees, let them play. Because you're not letting them play. You're hurting. Some stupid penalties, you call them, man. Some dumb penalties, but not getting into my NFL soapbox. I should, but I'm not. Man, some dumb plays and penalties was called this past weekend. But calm down, LJ, calm down. But bottom line is, referees, get out the way and let these guys play ball. When you let them play ball, the game gets better. Call the obvious, call the pass interference, call the holdings, okay. But other than that, the other dumb plays that is like stupid, especially on Sunday Night Football, with some, okay, I'm back into my soapbox. Let me get out my soapbox. All right, guys. You guys have an awesome and righteous day. We'll see you later on. I'll be back on in a few. But I'll let you know this has been the bottom line. Weekdays, Thursdays through Fridays. Get catches on Spotify, on YouTube, Facebook. Just check us out and visit thespreadshot.com. That's ldb-media-core.myspreadshot.com. Support the vision, Support the vision. Support the vision. All right. All right. Let's support the vision. All right. All right. This has been fun, and I appreciate you guys listening and watching. Salute the bottom line. Have fun and be prosperous. God bless you. The Bottom Line, weekdays on LDB TV. Presented by LDB